Welcome to the NexWave Procure to Pay demonstration. This video will take you through the process to create and receive items within NexWave ERP. Starting with the stock workspace, you can see that items can be stored in multiple warehouses. If we open the stock dashboard, you will note we can see the purchasing trends along with the deliveries across the year. The dashboard also illustrates the oldest items within our warehouses and those items where we note shortages. To analyze the items further, we can simply drill to the item list from the dashboard. We can view the item list both as a list view or an image list. When we find the item we are looking for, we can simply click to open the record. Within the Dashboard tab, you can see the linkages to transactions containing this item. Further down, we can also see the available stock in each warehouse. As you can see for this item, we are running low in the finished goods warehouse. A quick review of the Purchasing tab shows us the minimum order quantities for this item. We can now proceed to purchasing some more of this item. To start the procurement process, we simply navigate to the buying workspace. Here you will note the purchase order option is listed. From the list of previous purchase orders, you can click the Add Purchase Order button at the top. Within the purchase order screen, you will need to enter the supplier you wish to send the order to. You could type in the supplier or select from the drop-down list. Enter the date you wish to receive the item. This is useful for reviewing supplier performance. At the line level, enter the item or items you wish to purchase. You can then enter the quantity required. The price will default from the purchasing price list. However, users can be allowed to override this. You can also set the default warehouse if you want the supplier to deliver to a specific address. Once you have entered everything on the purchase order, simply save and confirm the transaction, and you are ready to send the purchase order to the supplier. NexWave ERP fully supports budget checking if required, and so users can be warned or prevented from processing orders that exceed the budget. In this case, we simply have the warning switched on. The purchase order layout can be configured to meet your specific requirements. Once the purchase order has been sent to the supplier, you can proceed to receiving the items. Receipts can be processed from the inventory workspace if the warehouse team are actioning. However, you can also create the purchase receipt from the purchase order screen. Users reviewing the buying dashboard will also see the purchase order to receive reminder which they can drill through. On the list view of the purchase orders, note the progress bars illustrating the amount received against each transaction. To process the receipt, select the required purchase order and proceed to the purchase receipt option. This process will open the purchase receipt screen and complete all the fields previously entered on the purchase order. You can amend the data if only part of the order is receipted, but if everything is as requested, you can simply save and confirm the receipt. Once processed, the stock ledger is automatically updated with the stock quantities and the balance sheet updated with the overall value of the inventory received. If required, a purchase receipt document can also be printed. Should you later determine some of the items need to be returned to the supplier, NexWave offers a full supplier returns function. If, however, the goods are all acceptable and you wish to enter the supplier's invoice, you can do this easily from the purchase receipt record. As with all records in NexWave, the Connections view allows you to navigate to other transactions within the process. If we review the purchase order link to our receipt, we can now see the percentage received bar has been completed. As with the purchase receipt record, you can also generate the supplier invoice from the purchase order screen. The purchase invoice screen allows you to enter the supplier invoice. The data presented on the screen will replicate the information on the purchase order to speed up data entry. Of course, any variations captured on the supplier invoice can be recorded in this record. If everything matches the purchase order, you simply need to save and process the supplier invoice. Upon confirmation, the accounts payable will be updated automatically. If you now navigate back to the original purchase order using the connections links, you will see the purchase order now has the percentage build bar completed. Paying supplier invoices is also extremely simple within NexWave ERP. You could choose to generate a payment list covering all invoices due for payment, or alternatively select the individual invoices and from the Create button, generate a payment record. Within the accounting worksheet, you will see that all the accounting functions are available. Scrolling down on the workspace shows the accounts payable functions. If you wish to review all transactions within accounts payable, select this option off the list. You will see the system creates an aging bar for all open accounts payable transactions. Scrolling down allows you to view each line item and the associated supplier. The line also shows the invoiced amount and any part payments made. Should you need to expand the columns, simply drag the width to the acceptable position.